Hi. Came back. Now this lighting's just from this is it's not that kind of flickery kind of weirdness that was going on in the last one. So, welcome everybody. My name is the Guru Mama, I'm Mary June Tracy, psychic medium, spiritual love of life coach, and most of all an astrologer. So, today is Friday. Friday is Freya's day and it's Venus's day. So we have a goddess day today. And the moon is opposing Jupiter. So the moon is the triple goddess. So we have a lot of goddess energy coming into Gaia today. And, stepping into that beautiful feminine energy, stepping into what Freya is. Freya is this beautiful, vibrant goddess that likes to go out and party, basically. That's what she is known for. And then we have the goddess Venus. Venus loves to entice and go out and enjoy. So it is a Friday of enticement. It is a Friday of enjoyment and wanting to get out and enjoy and embrace the beautiful things that are going on around in your world. It is a beautiful day to find that positivity and not get lost in the craziness or the corruption or the utter stupidity that's going on at this time. So, when we look at goddess energy, I mean, goddess energy is very strong and it's very where the goddesses can be very loving and caring, but the goddesses can also be very forceful and forthright, manipulative. The goddesses can come in, they can manipulate, they can change, they can be scary. We got the dark goddesses that can be very scary, transformational. There, so we are in this energy that is really taking us to great transformation. And there's also the energy that wants to manipulate us and take us to places that we don't really want to go to or we don't want to work with. So, hello, Cynthia. So, this is a real beautiful time of coming into looking at the joy and the beauty and what we do have around us and try and stay out of the manipulation and the craziness that is surrounding us in so many places. And we will be seeing, I mean, gosh, so much things that are going to just sort of blow us away. We are in a time of, especially with Pluto going into, um, we'll be going into Aquarius and this time of we as humans changing. We as humans are changing and um adapting to new and different ways of living. And it's nothing new. Humans have done this throughout time and immemorial. I mean, it's showing in the astrology how we are changing, adapting in many different ways. And I was just listening to a program on writing and how writing and the form of writing has changed over the millennium and how people used to write and to communicate. And over time now, most are, typing, they type with their phone. A lot of people don't journal, like, or write things down or send Christmas cards. How many of you actually receive Christmas cards? Some of you might, but for the majority, are you receiving the same amount of Christmas cards you did 10, 15, 20, 30, however old you are, or even how many Christmas cards your parents received comparatively to what you receive now? This is showing how humans are changing, how they will send an email, they will send a text or one of those little singers on Facebook to you or something as a message, right? But not very many people write to one another anymore. When I get a letter or I get a um birthday card or a Christmas card from somebody, I keep it, because it took time to sit there and write, and taking that time to write out the letters, and um, it is a formulation of our brain that actually helps with development, believe it or not, in how we recognize and see things, and how we can recognize and see things in more detail with that. But as time goes on, we evolve, we change, and humans are evolving. They are changing in rapid ways. Uh, Elon Musk is coming out with the Neuralink. And what does that mean for humanity? Nobody really knows. You can sort of guess what that means. I mean, they're bringing out a lot of the pros to it. Baby factories. They're talking about, and they're even started up baby factories of growing humans in factories. What does that mean? I mean, they're coming out with very positive. They put a positive spin on things, just like assisted suicide. They put a positive spin on it and saying how great this is and how it can really assist you to overcome whatever pain and stuff and suffering. And that's the thing, is that as humans, we don't want pain and suffering. We do everything we can to avoid it. Yet, in order for us to go through a true spiritual transformation, there's pain and suffering. There's pain and suffering. It's through the pain and suffering that we find great love, great joy, great satisfaction in the world. We find the peace and we find the beauty and we find the love is through great suffering. Yet we will do everything in our power to avoid it. And everything in the power of the universe is coming in to say, we have to go through this. We have to go through this time of suffering, I guess you can say, of transformation. And that's what I feel like we're actually going through. We're going through a great time of transformation right now. Now, let me see. Got to find it right here. There we go. So, let's look at some of the planets right now. So we're going to look at Jupiter, because right now Jupiter is the god of expansion. He's the god of our consciousness, and he's going to be transiting in Aries. Look at where Aries is in your chart as well. Okay. So for me, Aries is coming into my 10th, 11th house. So he's going to be going through my 10th and 11th house. For bringing transformation in. And plus I'll have a Jupiter conjunction because my Jupiter is in Aries. It's the only fire I have in my chart, in my natal chart. So it is the sign of the warrior, the protector, and the initiator. And until May of 2023. So this is where he's going to transit Chiron, the wounded healer, so significantly representing the current wound of the masculine nature, which stands for freedom, liberty, and human rights. So, in saying that, this is where we're coming into people standing up because they don't want to live with pain and suffering anymore. They don't want to live with feeling the pain and the suffering. Plus, Jupiter is not only going to meet up with Chiron, he's also going to meet up with Eris. So, and she is the goddess of the underdog and the goddess of chaos. So, we're going to find where people want freedom, they want liberty, they want to have their human rights. But in order to do that, it means that we have to stand up and we can't just sit around and not do anything. And this is where this transit foretells to us that over the next few months, individual groups and nations will rise to combat any of the disastrous effects of corporate and government interference. And we're starting to see that. We're starting to see that standing up and saying, hey, this doesn't make sense. I think somebody sent me a thread or a tweet from what's happening with Pfizer and Pfizer with the vaccine and the shot. Don't want to say exactly what this, it basically was saying is what you're seeing right now with people's heart chakra. So this is where this the disastrous effects of companies and governments and criminal activities over the last 2 years and more is going to come up and more is going to be revealed. How and what exactly? Some of it we'll know. Some of it, I believe, is going to be very unexpected because of Uranus in Taurus. And it's the beginning of a new cycle, a new 12-year cycle, because Aries is the beginning of the um astrological signs. So this is going to seed. So Aries is the seeding. It is the springtime. So we're going to be seeding, and we're going to be looking at what we are going to that you have to sow with feelings, thoughts, and deeds. And other over the last year, Jupiter and Pisces uh, not pretends, a growth in your sovereignty and personal power and freedom. So over the past year, we've had where we are wanting to look at our sovereignty. You've been hearing the word sovereignty a lot from many different people, but this is where we are coming into our personal power and our freedom. We're seeing it. Well, now we have to do something about it. You want your sovereignty, you want your personal freedom, you have to act on that, and you can't, and it's not gonna be comfortable. That's the thing. We want it to be comfortable. Sometimes, getting the chip in the hand and the chip in the head or wherever the chip's gonna go up your butt, I don't know, but getting the chip done is a thing of convenience, and that's what people think. It's like, how many people have TAP? Right? Or they use their phone. They tap with their phone, right? They're going to go pay for something, or they have the app, and whatever the app is. Okay, we got the app. I'll pull up the app and do what I need to do with, when I go in. I mean, even shopping is now going to be done through an app, through an AI system, right? So we have this energy that is saying, okay, you know what? This is where it's a time of we want to have renewed optimism and good times for planning, acting, and initiating on new projects, relationships, and ideas as it's at odds or squares Capricorn and of the rigid establishment. So again, we're coming into a time that is going to be squaring the establishment, the things is that that has kept people in their place, and the rigidness that it's all about. Now we're coming into even more and more energy that's saying, hey, we want freedom, we want to live in a new and glorious way, right? This is what we want to start doing and living in this life. And so with Jupiter, you may experience some resistance to your assertions, but Jupiter promises support and renewed faith and good fortune for those courageous enough to deserve it and go for it. So if you're sitting and feeling, I don't want to be inconvenienced, or you're sitting and you're saying, well, that's going to be, I don't want to be hurt. But in order to find the great love, the great joy, and the great prosperity, we're going to be going through this. This is our second stage. We've gone through a birthing canal. Now we're coming into being a toddler, going through puberty, coming into becoming an adult. None of those stages are easy, but there's a lot of joy and there's a lot of fun and there's a lot of, renewness that comes in each of those stages. And there's so much, more to say regarding to these days, but the energies and the astrological aspects. But we are in an earthly intention to a new level of human experience. We as humans are evolving to a new level. Now, it's going to, of course, take time. It's not going to happen overnight. But just like the rites of passage we all go through, from losing our baby teeth to entering puberty to adulthood, there are necessary, ordered, and timely steps to be taken. And that's what we're entering into. And the zodiac is our guide. Thank you. Thank you, Lexi. The network is a common buzzword. We hear network this, because of the web. and it falls under Gemini and Aquarius. Okay, those are two signs of communication, and has least they have two different interpretations. So Gemini's rules the planet of he's a planet is ruled by the planet of communication, which is Mercury. Is the third step. So if we got Aries is 1, Taurus is 2, Gemini is the third. So it's the third step in the 12 steps of the zodiacal order. And it is the initial reaching of an as yet undefined personality or ego. So, as we're coming in upon our journey, if we're looking at the fool's journey, we're coming into this time of developing our ego, developing our choices. Is this the way that we go? Is this what I like? This is where to become familiar with the surrounding and environment, the curiosity. In many ways, social media expresses this intellect and superficial exploration. So we look at the media, we look at all of that, and we start to say, a lot, it's all ego run. How many likes you get, how many people, you know, gives you a thumbs up, kind of thing. Mars has been stimulating this area since August and will continue until March. So here's, Mars, and it's like going through its thing. It's part of a yod right now that is pointing towards the south node. So it's kind of like coming through and going through some slushiness. So we're having some sluggish communications when it comes to trying to emit the information that we want to have emitted. So another more advanced form of networking is the Aquarius, the 11th house of the zodiac. So this is your personal curiosity. The soul has individual self. Cancer, Leo, Virgo. It's learned relationships and intimacy through Libra and Scorpio, and expanded its consciousness to include an understanding of natural law, Sagittarius, societal rules and laws and regulations, Capricorn, and is therefore prepared to assist the collective in the consciousness of humanity in attaining liberated and enlightened for future in Aquarius. So we have Pluto entering into Aquarius. Now, if we go back in what I said the 11th house, it's the 11th house, but it's beyond personal curiosity. It is the soul has individualized itself from Cancer, Leo, and Virgo, and learned relationship and intimacy through Libra and Scorpio, expanded its consciousness to include and understand the natural law in Sagittarius. Now, when I say the natural law is not, I'm not talking about nature, but it's the natural law, the spiritual self. Now, Pluto's coming in to bring in a disruption or see what needs to be fixed, what needs to be aligned within ourselves in order for us to be liberated and enlightened. Again, that's going to cause us to be uncomfortable. That's going to cause us to feel out of sorts. And that's why it's so important for us to really come into our truth, into our awareness. So this is a self-interest advancement and developments have already been attained and evolved, and individual ego is now seeking through more than truth, awareness, and welfare of others and the planets and the future. So we have gone through quite an evolution through, let's say, Libra in, or not Libra, since Pluto in Libra. So we've gone through this evolution of relationships, of coming together, of learning how to develop our relationships, going into the depths of Scorpio, Pluto and Scorpio, going into the depths and transformation of understanding who we are and what we are wanting to do, into that natural place in Sagittarius. So if you when we look at our development and changes that we have been going through, let's say since the 80s, going into the 80s, and then to the 90s, to the 2000s, of from Libra just to Sagittarius with Pluto, and then in 2008 going into Capricorn, how we are coming into this new alignment, and as it goes into Aquarius, it has us to look at and say, what have you learned? Have you learned? Are you putting this to use? Because we're coming into such challenging and evolutionary times. We're coming into a time where Pluto's also entering into the house that is ruled by Saturn. He likes Saturn, but he's getting a different look or a different perspective of who Saturn is. So this is coming into a time that really wants us to look at, our great light. And the sun, this is also where this is, we're going to go, I'm going to go getting ahead of myself. Networking, I was talking about networking, and that I'm speaking of it speaking of it, we understand that Saturn, the great teacher, the lord of karma, through the 28-year journey around the zodiac, is nearing the end of the sovereign through this sign. So here we have Saturn ending, going to be entering into Pisces. Now, Saturn, for the past 6 years, we'll say, has had a lot of power because he's been in his own house. He's been there. He's been, here I am. This is the way I do it. This is how I do it. I do it this way. I am the Lord. I am the Lord of time. I'm the Lord of karma. I'm going into Pisces. So we're going to be having him going into Pisces next year in March. And as he goes into Pisces, he's going into Neptune's house. And Neptune is like, hey, dude, I don't give a fuck who you are, but you're coming into my house. And we got some journeying to do. We got some soul searching to do. We got some newness to go into. And Saturn, you have to learn how to ground when there are no boundaries. You're going to have to come in when there's an evolutionary time of renewal and newness to come into. And the sun, having spent 2 months shining the light on the ability to relate, deepen, and strengthen our capability in the realm of intimate relationships, is now nearing the end of its, of the sojourn through Sagittarius. And it grapples with this deepening and our capacity. And this is finishing up a lot of lessons when it comes to relationships and our preparation for the next step in the social integration. Our next step in connecting and who we connect to and how we connect with. And this is looking at how we are going to be co-creating and co-creation of an unindividualized self-interest or greedy soul who do not yet possess the ability to deeply humanly relate to love and therefore have limited understanding of the meaning and purpose of life. We're coming into this time of great expansion. And this is where humanity has to step in. Our morals, our values, and our belief systems. Remember, I've been always telling, what is your belief system? What are your values? What are your values on babies being manufactured? Never feeling that kick in the tummy, never feeling that connection of mommy and baby bonded. It's quite interesting when you start listening to the advertisement for this. And it's some of the words that you need to pick up in there because one of the parts they talk about as you relax in your own zone, they say zone, which is I found very interesting in that as well. But this is evolutionary times. This is a time that is really getting us to look at our own truth, our own joy, our own sovereignty, and how we connect with one another with great love. And this is where can only be created and maintained through selfless acts of consciousness service to a heartfelt picture of the future that includes all its participants' rights, freedoms, interests, and fulfillments. This is not a time to separate and say, oh, you can't believe that, or you can't believe that. This is a time of dialogue and not to be afraid of having that dialogue with someone and not being afraid of speaking out, because if I do speak out, I might be ousted. I won't fit into the algorithms of what everyone else is saying. Great truths are coming out, but sometimes it's very hard to live in or live within those great truths that are coming in. So, my loves, next week will be the new moon. And if you are wanting a new moon reading, definitely get a hold of me. They are $30. They're pre-recorded. I send them and I record them. I record them and send them to you. They're not they yes, they are pre-recorded, but they're not the message I do, the message is for that person, not I don't do a one bulk message for all Geminis or all Scorpios or Aquariuses. It's each one is individual. So if you are wanting one, definitely it's $30. Um if you are wanting a reading for the rest of mini readings for all of 2023, and it's really nice because that you get 2 readings a month from me, and just to help you to get through a lot of the energies and the transitions on what's this happening? Why am I feeling that way? Oh, okay. And, letting you know, hey, this is a fabulous time to do, to step forward. This is the time right now. The energies are with you to do X, Y, and Z or whatever it is. So it helps you to really work with the energies, and it really helps you to, um, understand sometimes when you are feeling sluggish or overwhelmed. So if you are wanting readings for the whole year, for 2023, it'll be and there will be payment plans. I did have them on sale. Just letting people know I did have them on sale, but it'll be $600 for the whole year. That'll be $25. So it'll be a $10 savings a month that you will receive. So if you're interested in getting the full readings for the year and pre-recorded, well, I record it anyways. I don't know how to say that. Let me know, and we can set up payment plans for you, definitely. But I find doing them is useful for me. It helps me more with my astrology. And also I find the people who have been getting them for the past several years uh truly enjoy them, and also how much the information comes to, the information comes to them, and they're feeling very much in alignment. So if you're interested, let me know. And yeah, there you guys go. I want you to have a fabulous weekend. I work all weekend. I work Saturday, Sunday. I work all the way up till Wednesday. I have next Thursday, Friday off, and my Thursday's pretty full with readings. Friday, um, have some errands to do, and then Saturday's Christmas Eve, and then Christmas Day. And the winter summer solstice is not the summer solstice, but it's the winter solstice is coming up on the 21st. I'm looking so forward to the winter solstice. Um, it was so dark this morning when I took Mateus to school. He starts school at 8 o'clock, but it was dark, and I'm just like, oh, it's so dark. And we're standing out in the dark, and it's 8 o'clock, and I'm just like, oh, I don't want to stand out in the dark. So so there you guys go. What else? What else is going on? Yeah, there's some craziness happening over in the other side of the world, but I can't say I got to really watch what I say because I've already had 2 strikes from YouTube. So I'm really trying to so I'm not totally banned because I still want to use YouTube as a platform to speak to you. And my Rumble platform isn't that big. Not saying that my YouTube platform is very big, but it's Rumble's a lot smaller with it. But so I want to keep my YouTube going and still build it. So hopefully you can share this out, share, like, and subscribe to my YouTube page so that I can get up there a little bit and more people can get my videos and of what things that I say. And as time goes on, I'm learning how to speak a little bit more fluently and learning new words and how to describe things. So there you guys go. Anyways, God bless and the goddess bless. Have a great Friday and enjoy. Merry Christmas to everybody. And we will talk to you guys all soon. Bye bye.